नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter, text number 14. Antastaha sarvabhutanam Antastaha sarvabhutanam Atma Yogeshvaro Harihi Atma Yogeshvaro Harihi Swamayaya vrunod garbham Swamayaya vrunod garbham Vairatyaha kurutantave Vairatyaha kurutantave Antastaha sarvabhutanam Atma Yogeshvaro Harihi Swamayaya vrunod garbham Vairatyaha kurutantave Antastaha sarvabhutanam Atma Yogeshvaro Harihi Swamayaya vrunod garbham Vairatyaha kurutantave. Antastaha sarvabhutanam Atma Yogeshvaro Harihi Swamayaya vrunod garbham Vairatyaha kurutantave. Antastaha sarvabhutanam Atma Yogeshvaro Harihi Maya vrunod garbham Antastaha sarvabhutanam Antastaha being within, Sarva all, Bhutanam of the living beings, Atma soul, Yogeshvara the Lord of all mysticism, Harihi the Supreme Lord, Swamayaya by the personal energy, Avrunot covered, Garbham embryo, Vairatyaha of Uttarā, Kurutantave from the progeny of Maharaja Kuru. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Prabhupada Ki. Translation. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramātmā. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttarā by his personal energy. Please repeat. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramātmā. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttarā by his personal energy. Purport. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atoms by his Paramātmā feature, his plenary portion. Therefore, from within the body of Uttarā, he covered the embryo to save Maharaj Parikshit, the and protect the progeny of Maharaja Kuru, of whom King Pandu was also a descendant. Both the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu belonged to the same dynasty of Maharaja Kuru. Therefore, both of them were generally known as Kurus. But when there were differences between the two families, the sons of Dhritarashtra were known as the Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandu were known as Pandavas. Since the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were all killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the last son of the dynasty is designated as the son of Kurus. Text number 15, I'll read it for myself. Yadyapi astra brahma shiras tva amogham cha pratikriyam Vaishnavam teja asadya samashamyad bhrugudvaha. Translation. O Shaunaka, although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwatthama was irresistible and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Brahma Jyoti, or the glowing transcendental effulgence, is resting on Lord Krishna. In other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas is nothing but the rays of the Lord. Just as the sun rays are the rays of sun disk. So this Brahma weapon also, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. The weapon called Brahmastra, released by Ashwatthama, was neutralized and foiled by Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa by his own energy. That is to say, he did not wait for any other's help because he is absolute. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhara Śrī Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We're saying the verses from the chapter named Prayers by Queen Kunti. Prior to Kunti's prayers, the context of some important incidents that have occurred have been explained in these verses. So, as the Kurukshetra war came to an end and Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa headed towards Dwarka after completing the war, it was in the fag end of the war that the ill-motivated Ashwatthama wanted to kill the progeny or only descendant of the Kurus, who was still in the womb of Uttarā. He was Parikshit Maharaj. So that's the context here. And Uttarā tried her best to reach out to Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, and that's the context here. We have seen in last couple of verses where Uttarā was ardently praying, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin, Mahayogeshwara. So she is addressing Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa with great words like Yogeshwara, the supreme mystic, he is the one who can protect. He is known to be the protector of all the devotees. So that's how Lord, in this verse we can see, the Lord of supreme mysticism, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramātmā. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttarā by his personal energy. So, as the request came from Uttarā for protection of her embryo, Lord is within and without. We all see that and hear. So Prabhupada explains very nicely about this aspect of Paramātmā feature here, how he protects. In the purport, Prabhupada says, the Lord of supreme mysticism can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atoms. So he can live everywhere. It's told every atom has a living entity and accompanied by a super soul, Paramātmā. Atma and Paramātmā are everywhere, even in an atom. Take a glass of water or any object you see, or in the open space, there are many microbes. In each of these, we have living entity and accompanied by Paramātmā. So, Lord of supreme mysticism can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart and even within the atoms by his Paramātmā feature, his plenary portion. So, it is as much important for us to know about Lord's pastimes and his leelas, and as much as it is important for us to know how he controls, how he protects all the more with his personal energy. Prabhupada goes on to say, therefore, from within the body of Uttarā, he covered the embryo to save Maharaj Parikshit and protect the progeny of Maharaja Kuru. So, from within the womb of Uttarā, he covered the embryo so that Brahmastra, which is released by Ashwatthama, could not kill the only descendant who was supposed to be for the Kuru dynasty. So, the aspect of Paramātmā and Atma is always a question of interest and intriguing. So, I would like to refer from one of the conversations that Srila Prabhupada was having with his disciples Swarup Damodar and Balimardan. So they were very philosophical and they were trying to understand the features of Atma and Paramātmā in this conversation. I would like to mention. So how Lord here, how he protected is also much more lucidly understandable. So Swarup Damodar says, so actually our body is a combination of these so many living entities. Prabhupada says, atoms, yes, why not? Every living entity is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair. Where is the difficulty? So Balimardan says, so there is one Jivatma who is in control of the body, the others are subservient. So if we are a small Jivatma and our body has got so many Jivatmas, so is it that one of them is predominating that we are and the others are subservient? He says yes. Jivatma is everywhere, but you have got your own field. For agriculture purpose, you have got big field, but there are so many millions of microbes. So Prabhupada goes on to explain, yes, that is true. Say if you have got a field for farming, you own it. Just that as long as you till the land, it doesn't mean that it belongs to you and you go and it belongs to somebody. No. Even though there are many microbes and atoms and everything there, but still that land belongs to you. Similarly, our body has many atoms or Jivatmas, but we are the predominating Jivatma. So he goes on to say, so when we leave the field, the other cells in the body also leave this field, their field. So for example, a person dies and we see the body crumbling and many worms come out after a couple of days, isn't it? So the predominating person has left and the other jivas cannot stay, or they cannot take the position and take up this body further. No. So that's what is mentioned here. Yes, therefore the germs come out as soon as it is proper time. So he is individual and they are also individual. I have got my field, I am an individual, I leave it, but because there are so many other microbes, they will come as me? No, that is not possible. So the understanding that we develop from this purport is every jivatma has got its field, and for a certain time there are many other jivatmas helping. This body is not just the a place for only atma that we are. No. There are many jivatmas and they are also helping. That's what the understanding goes on. So, even for our existence, even for our livelihood, there are many people helping us. It is not that we are the one in this body. No. So, similarly, Paramātmā, if he wants to protect, he is within everyone's atom, every jivatma. Can he not do that? So, that is what is explained further in the next words what we read. How here in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that the Brahma Jyoti, or the glowing transcendental effulgence, is resting on Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. So Brahmastra, what is this Brahmastra? It is a glowing fiery weapon. So, where is this glowing sunshine? We cannot see sunshine sometimes directly also, isn't it? It is so severe that we cannot directly see. And if a sun which is getting its energy from the Brahma Tejas, we all know sun and moon get its light or the power from the Brahma Tejas, which is the reflection of, which is from the Lord's body. So, if those planets are so powerful, and imagine the power of Lord Krishna. So, that's what Prabhupada says here. So, this Brahma weapon also, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. The weapon called Brahmastra, released by Ashwatthama, was neutralized and foiled by Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa by his own energy. So, it is not required for the Lord for somebody's help to be calling for to save some situation. He is all in all. If he wants, he can glow as much as required and neutralize. See, how do you neutralize something? Opposite force of or more than required, or the existing force can be there to neutralize. So that's how this whole weapon of Brahmastra, even though it is irresistible, generally it is told it is to a target where nobody else can be harmed, but the only person who is targeted will be affected, or the all will be attacked. But that also, when Lord Krishna decided on his own, so he nullified that aspect of weapons credibility. So with this context, Prabhupada very nicely explains in one of the verses in Ishopanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapahitam mukham tattvam pusan avaprunu satyadharmaya drishyaye. O my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. So here it is mentioned, O my Lord, sustainer of all living, all lives. So everybody is sustained by him. We see from Bhagavad Gita where this portion is explained. What is that? Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre maniganaiva. So that word says sutre manigana. You have a money or jewels which is rested on a sutra, which is resting on a thread. Like that, everything is resting on him, directly or indirectly. He has many energies. So here, Radha Govinda ki jai. So here, this devotee is praying, O sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. So here he is explaining, your face is covered because just the sun we cannot see, and how do we reach the Supreme Lord who is effulgent? In that context, a devotee prays, O Lord, for the pure devotee, you remove this effulgence so that a devotee can see. So the context here is his Prema Tejas is incredibly powerful. It can neutralize any weapon because after all, everything is resting on him. Everything rests on him. The features of Brahman, Paramātmā, or all the features of Bhagavan, the absolute truth. So everything, the Paramātmā feature also rests on him. Brahman feature also rests on him. Bhagavan, of course, is absolute truth. So from this context of the devotees who are praying, we can understand what is the effulgence or the power that Lord Krishna possesses, that he doesn't have to require anybody's help to neutralize. Unlike all the jivas, we look forward for any help at the trying circumstances. So here we see the weapon called Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama was neutralized and foiled by Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa by his own energy. That is to say, he did not wait for any other's help because he is absolute. Lord doesn't require anybody's help. So apparently, we see some situations or come across some pastimes, Lord is also seeking some help. In circumstances like, I vaguely remember, he took the help of Lord Shiva for doing something. He took the help of somebody else for doing some aspects. No, it is all the pastime of the Lord or the privilege that a devotee gets if he is helping the his Lord's mission or Lord himself. The other aspect that we can understand from this couple of verses is addressing of Maharaj Parikshit as the descendant of the Kurus. So we see these words often, Kurus and Pandavas. Kauravas and Pandavas had a battle, right? So why these names are mentioned? Even though we know Pandavas were the sons of Pandu and Kauravas were the sons of Dhritarashtra. But we know Dhritarashtra and Pandu are from the same father. So they must all be called as Kurus. But why is that? So because this all started with the ill motive that Dhritarashtra had. The first shloka in Bhagavad Gita we see what? Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. So, Kimakurus. So, Mamaka. Dhritarashtra is asking, what did my sons do? And Pandavas. He separated them. So, that was the ill motive. Even though they're all from the same family, what did my sons do? And what did Pandavas do? So, this led to the names that we see here as Kurus and the Kauravas and the Pandavas. So, here Prabhupada mentions, both the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu belong to the same dynasty of Maharaja Kuru. Therefore, both of them generally known as Kurus. But when there were differences between the two families, the sons of Dhritarashtra were known as Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandu, were known as Pandavas. Since the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were all killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, the last son of the dynasty is designated as the son of Kurus. So here we see why Parikshit Maharaj is addressed as son of descendant of or the son of Kurus, because he is the only one who is there in the either from the family of Dhritarashtra or from the family of Pandus. None of them were there. And he was the only one, so he got the special privilege or the royal throne that he would get from the descendants of the great lineage of the Kurus and Pandus and their family. Yeah, one more aspect that we can try and understand is Brahmanohi Pratistaham, about the feature of Paramātmā or the Brahman. When we talk about Supreme Lord Absolute Truth, we come across these features quite often: Brahman, Paramatman and Bhagavan. So here we see from Bhagavad Gita, Brahmanohi pratistaham amrutasya cha shashvatasya dharmasya sukaikantasya kaschana. I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, eternal, and is the constitutional position of unlimited happiness. So even those who are trying to merge into the existence of Brahman, or those who are trying to meditate on the Paramātmā feature, so they are also based on the absolute truth's basis. So Krishna here he says, I am the basis. So he continues to say, Brahman, Paramatman and Bhagavan are the three aspects of the same absolute truth. Brahman is the aspect most easily perceived by the beginner. Paramatma, the super soul, is realized by those who are further progressed, and Bhagavan realization is the ultimate realization of the absolute truth. So we come across how a beginner understands that Brahman is easily perceived by the beginner. Just as much as we see from these verses, atom we all understand, we have learned. So he is within an atom, and atom is everywhere. So Brahman as a feature of Lord is everywhere. This everybody can understand. And Paramatma, he is within the heart. That is a little more intrigue. How do we understand he is within the heart? That's easy. Brahman means is easy. Everywhere he is, we can at least figuratively think. But Paramatma, he is within the heart. He has also a form. He has 2 hands, 2 legs, or 4 hands, 2 legs. So a Paramatma feature is described. That is little advanced. So that's what is mentioned. it's not easily understandable, but it is for after birth, further progress. Bhagavan realization is the ultimate realization of the absolute truth. Now, the Bhagavan feature is the ultimate, and how it is so difficult unless we have this understanding how his energies are working, we cannot perceive this absolute truth in the form of Bhagavan in his abode. We haven't perceive for staying here. We cannot from the scriptures we can see, but we cannot directly see his form, Shyama Sundara form. So it is further more difficult. So as practitioners, we can understand how little by little we can perceive. Of course, through the Vigraha, through the personalities, we can get an iota how the Lord receives these sevas in the personal abode there. But nonetheless, for us to see the Shyama Sundara form in his transcendental original form, it is not easy. That's why it is told, it is after, that's the ultimate realization. Of course, the Hare Krishna mantra that we all practice and the aspects of devotional services that we do, on a good day, we would also realize the supreme aspect of ultimate realization as Bhagavan. So, it's a long way, maybe, but nonetheless, with the spirit that we have within this text, we foresee how this ultimate realization can also be attained by each one of us. Yeah. I would stop here. If you have any questions, I'll take one or two. Yeah.
How Prabhu, in those creatures the Paramātmā and soul resides?
Are you saying in the microbes there is no heart?
In atoms at least, Prabhu, there is no heart. So where the Paramātmā and soul will reside?
The question here or the discussion is like every jiva has got all the senses. It doesn't mean if it is 1/10,000th part, it doesn't have a form, it doesn't have heart. No, it does. It's not a physical heart. It is a Divya Swarup. Say, as such, when we say we are part and parcels of Supreme, we also have the Supreme aspects, but in a spiritual dimension. Every jiva has. It may be in the form of a microbe. That doesn't mean it doesn't have. It has. It does has.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Atom also have soul and super soul. Atom generally considered as matter, no Prabhu. Matter is dead matter. I mean, it's not having life. How it may have soul?
No. So that is scientific. So-called scientists have mentioned that atom is dead, but here we see from the scriptures, every atom is a jiva and Paramātmā also stays.
Okay. Thanks.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700. హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప